Hello everyone, I'm back, and today we are going to review another Combat Patrol box set. I think you could smell this box from a mile, but if not, let me tell you, today's review will be about the Combat Patrol Death Guard box set, the new one. But without any further ado, let's go and check it out. Combat Patrol Death Guard. Price. It is either £100 or €130 or $170. However, the value inside the kit is really great. It is either £158 or €202 plus 75 cents or $259.50. That's a great value. Points inside the kit. 485 plus enhancements if you purchase any. This is a good one. Lots of points and all of these units that you can see here. Lot of Wlands, Taliman, Chaos Rhino, 3 Death Shroud Terminators and 7 Plague Marines. Because 7 is the number of Nurgle. So all of these units are really great, top tier, and if you are interested in that kind of thing, competitive. So you can use these in almost any and every list. Okay, as far as we can see, the box is great. Let's check out why. First of all, let's start with the universal rule of Death Guard. Gift of Nurgle. This one is an aura ability which all of your units have that has the Gift of Nurgle aura. So I think it's everything in your army except maybe the allies that you bring. But other than that, all of your guys. Let's check out what it can do. This aura has 2 types of effects. If an enemy unit is inside your aura, it is afflicted, which means you can subtract 1 from the toughness characteristic of the models in that unit, so you can wound them easier in some cases. That's always great. But other than that, you can choose 1 additional effect. Either the Skull Squirm Blight. If you choose this one, then the models in the enemy unit have to subtract 1 from their hit rolls, so they are hitting worse. That's great. Other option, Rattle Joint Arg. If they are afflicted by this one, you have to worsen their save characteristic by 1. So basically, you erode their armors and their saving is not that effective. Let's check out the next one. Scumborous Soul Rot. This is an interesting one. This is debuffs lots of things, but none of them is directly related to combat. You worsen their move characteristic, their leadership, their objective control characteristic by 1. However, one interesting thing to note, you cannot worsen their objective control characteristic to be less than 1, so you cannot take it away completely. It is what it is. As we already mentioned, this is an aura ability. Its range is changing as the game progresses. In the first turn, you have a contagion range of 3 inches. In the second round, you have the contagion range of 6 inches. And from the third round and onwards, you have the contagion range of 9. And that is huge. If something is nearby, it will probably have the space aids. Yikes. Now let's check out one of your heroes, Lord of Wlands. In this box set, I consider him as the de facto leader. So the leader of this combat patrol. So that's why we will start with him. This hulking behemoth, not just deadly, but extremely hard to kill. As far as characters on foot go, let's check out what he can do. He is a Terminator, so he is a bit slower than other characters with the movement 5. But you will be reimbursed by that toughness 7 that he have. So not many things can wound him easily. He has an amazing Terminator armor with 2+ save, 6 wounds, and a 4+ invulnerable save. All in all, just great and tanky. Let's check out his weapons. He has a twin plague spewer. This is basically a flamer, but filled with diseases and acid. It has a range of 12. It has D6 attacks, so attacks between 1 and 6. It is automatically hitting the target because this is a torrent weapon. It has the strength of 5, 1 points of armor penetration and damage 1. So it is good against little guys and can easily deal damage to marines. However, let's check out its rules, because that's where it gets spicy. It has the anti-infantry 2+ ability, which means this weapon will wound any infantry target on a 2+. And not just wound, it will critically wound the target on a 2+. So orcs, terminators, you aren't safe either. It has the ignores cover ability, so that barricade won't really save the targets of these attacks. And if you are still not confident in yourself that you can roll a 2+, It has the built-in twin linked ability, so you can reroll damage rolls with this weapon, which means almost every time you will wound infantry, and you have the chance to deal damage to bigger targets. All in all, great stuff for close quarter fighting. Let's check out its melee weapon, Power Fist. This is a standard Power Fist with 5 attacks, which means hitting on a 2+, because he is a hero, with the strength of 8, 2 points of armor penetration and damage 2. However, this weapon also has the lethal hits ability, which means every time when you roll a 6 to hit, you automatically wound the target. And that's nice, especially against tougher opponents. And do not forget, maybe his fist is strength 8, but you also subtract 1 from the enemy's toughness. He has the deep strike ability, so he can teleport on a battlefield from further than 9 inches away from your opponent's units. That is also a good thing to consider, and it is easy to deliver him by this method. He is a leader. In this case, and in this box set, he can lead the Death Shroud Terminators, and buffs them, and can buff them. Let's check out his abilities. Virulent Aura. While this model is leading a unit, each time when a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you can reroll the wound rolls. That just immensely buff the shooting of the unit that he is leading. Good stuff. And he has another ability, Blight Bombardment. At the start of the shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit within 30 inches and visible to this model. Until the end of the phase, each friendly Death Guard model that makes a ranged attack against this target, it can reroll the hit rolls of 1. But if the attack that you made was made by a weapon that has the Blessed ability, then you can reroll all hit rolls instead. Not many stuff in this box set, but all in all, he is a key piece to the Death Guard artillery, drones, and occasionally blight launchers. And you get all this for 90 points. Great deal, great character. Possible weakness, he is not the fastest, and the teleport in deep strike attack not always reliable. But still, a really great and important unit. Let's check out the next one. Taliman. He looks interesting and not too strong, which is true, because what do you expect from a scribe or a glorified intern? However, he is really strong in case of the whole army. Let's check out what he can offer. In case of fighting, he has a plasma pistol, which is a pistol with one shot, hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 7, 2 points of armor penetration and damage 1. But since it's a plasma, you can overcharge it. It has a range of 12. One attack hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 8, 3 points of armor penetration and damage 2. However, if you supercharge it, it becomes hazardous, which means after shooting you have to roll 1d6, and if you roll the 1, your model will suffer 3 mortal wounds. Good thing that he has 4 wounds, so he will survive the first mishap. However, if you have to shoot with him, you are already in a bad situation. Let's check out his melee profile. He has 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. So he is as dangerous as a chihuahua with a butter knife. Okay, but why would you bring him? Because of his abilities and because of his cost. He is able to lead the Plague Marines, and not just that. You can attach him to the unit of Plague Marines with another leader unit. But that's not that important now. Let's check out what abilities he can offer directly. Malicious Calculations. While this model is leading a unit, you can ignore any or all modifiers to ballistic skill or weapon skill that would modify your hit roll. I mean, it's alright, and it can come in handy against things like Eldar, Raven Guard, and against a vehicle that uses smoke, but in reality, I think you will bring him because of his other ability, Sevenfold Chant. In your command phase, if this model is on the battlefield, you can roll 2d6, and if you can roll a 7 or higher, you get 1 command point. You will bring him for those juicy command points. And because of his cost, 40 points. He is cheap, you can hide him somewhere, he can do you objectives, and farm you command points. And even deny deep strike. For that 40 point cost, I think he's worth it even if you score 3 victory points or gives you a command point. For that amount of point, this is a steal. However, he is rather good in the logistic part of the war, not the war part of the war. Okay, let's check out your other 2 units. Plague Marines. These guys are extremely versatile and they have a great ability. At first look, their rules and options will look intimidating, for you at least, but after you know how to use this, it will look much more intimidating to your opponent. Let's check out what they can do. They have lots of weapon options, Their basic loadout is bolt gun and plague knives. Let's check out this. Bolt gun. It has 2 shots hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. It's not that great, but at least they have the ability of lethal hits on their special bolt gun, on this bolt gun. Which means if you roll a 6 to hit, you automatically wound the target. That's always nice. And their other weapon, plague knives. It's a melee weapon, 3 attacks hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. Not that great, but it also has the lethal hits ability, so not that bad at least. Your plague champion has a bolt gun and a plague knife also, but you can replace it with a bolt pistol, a plasma pistol or a plasma gun. The bolt pistol is just bad. It has 1 shot hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1, and it only has the range of 12. I wouldn't recommend it. The plasma pistol. We already talked about in case of the Taliman, but let's just run through. It has the range of 12, 1 attack hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 7, 2 points of armor penetration and damage 1. Or if you supercharge it, it has 1 shot with the range of 12 hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 8, 3 points of armor penetration and damage 2. Better, but still not good. I recommend you to pick the plasma gun because it has the same stuff as the plasma pistol. However, it has double range, so it has the range 24. So at least you can pick from more targets in a target-rich environment. And it also has the rapid fire 1 ability, which means if the target that you are shooting at is within 12 inches, you can shoot 2 times. And that's not bad. And you have the way to deal with elites, marines, or even smaller vehicles. However, do not forget, this weapon also has the hazardous ability if you supercharge it, just as the plasma pistol. So, after shooting, you roll a hazardous test, and if you roll a 1, your unit leader just died. So consider when you overcharge it. But then again, if you are not overcharging, you are not living, I guess. For every 5 models in a unit, 1 Plague Marine can pick up a Blight Launcher, 1 Plague Marine can pick up a Plague Spewer, and 1 Plague Marine can choose between Melt-A-Gun, Plague Belcher, and Plasma Gun. These are the shooting options. Let's go through them. Blight Launcher. This weapon has the Blast and the Lethal Hits ability. Lethal Hits, if you roll a critical hit, you automatically wound the target. And the Blast, you are shooting at the bigger units, you shoot more times. Basically, if a unit has 5 models, you can add 1 to your attack characteristic. If it has 10, then you can add 2, and for every 5 you can add 1 other. Get the gist. It has the range of 24, with D3 attacks plus attacks from the Blast. Hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 6, 1 points of armor penetration and damage 2. It's not a bad weapon. I recommend you to pick this up any and every time. Your other option, Melt-A-Gun. It has the Melt-A-2 ability, which means if the target is within half range of this weapon or closer, you can add 2 to the damage characteristic. But its range is short. It has the range of 12. 1 shot, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 9, 4 points of armor penetration, and D6 damage. Or D6 plus 2 if it's close. It's nice to kill elite units to deal damage to lighter vehicles, or even just to pop them. Plague Belcher and Plague Pursuer are similar weapons, but one of them, the Plague Belcher, is much weaker, so I wouldn't recommend that one. Let's check out the stronger one. The Plague Pursuer has the Anti-Infantry 2+, ignores cover and tolerance special rules. So it will wound infantry on a 2+, anytime and every time, and it will ignore cover. But other than that, it has the range of 12, D6 attacks, so attacks between 1 and 6, it is automatically hitting the target so you don't have to roll hit rolls, it has the strength of 5, 1 points of armor penetration and damage 1. The Plague Belcher would be almost the same, but it's weaker, it doesn't have armor penetration, and it only wounds infantry on a 4+ and above. So just skip that one, I don't know why it's there, why bother? But if you want your unit to be fighty, for every 5 models, 2 of your Plague Marines can replace their bolt gun with bubotic weapons, and for every 5 models, 2 of your Plague Marines can replace their bolt gun with heavy plague weapons. Let's check out these. Bubotic weapons. They have the lethal hits ability, so if you roll an unmodified hit roll of 6, you automatically wound the target. You have 4 attacks hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 5, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. It's okay or even good to deal with smaller targets like guardsmen, termagants, Eldari guardians, and things like that. But if you want to deal with more elite infantry like Space Marines or Orc Knobs or Wotan Terminators, I would recommend you the Heavy Plague weapon. This weapon also has the ability of lethal hits, so critically hit, automatically wounding, nice, remember? But this time it has 3 attacks, hitting on a 4+, with the strength of 8, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. So it's not that precise, but hitting much harder. And one more thing, the unit leader can replace its Plague Knife with either a Bobotic weapon that we already talked about, or a Power Fist, which is the same as the Heavy Plague weapon, but hitting on a 3+. So it's hitting just as hard, but at least it's much more precise than your Heavy Plague weapons. I always recommend you to pick up the Power Fist. If a few pesky units just try to tag you and keep you in fight so you will not be able to shoot, then your champion can just punch a hole in them and you can start blasting again in your turn. One of your Plague Marines that is equipped with a bolt gun can have an icon of despair, but only Plague Marines that have bolt gun. What it can do? Icon of despair has an aura of 6 inches, and if the enemy unit is within this aura, you can worsen their leadership characteristic by 1. It's not that great. And let's check out their ability. And it's a spicy one in my opinion. Infused with the Blessing of Nurgle. In your shooting phase, each time this unit is selected to shoot, and after it has shot, you can select one enemy unit that was hit at least one of these shooting attacks. And until the start of your next turn, this unit is considered to be afflicted. This unit is extremely complicated. Before assembly, you will have to read the rules a few times. Let's check out the next one. Death Shroud Terminators. Oh boy, these guys are great. And thankfully not as complicated as the Plague Marines. These guys are one of your best fighters and one of your best bodyguards. Let's check out what they can do. Each of them have a Plague Spurt Gauntlet. Your champion has 2 of this weapon. Has the range of 12. It has D6 attacks, so shots between 1 and 6. It has the Torrent ability, it has strength 3, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1, which is not that great. However, these weapons are ignoring the cover and they have the keyword of anti-infantry 4+, so they can wound any and every infantry model on a 4 or above. That's great. Also, they are pistols, so you can shoot it even if you are in melee. And this extra chip damage will go a long way, especially if you have 7 of these guns and you attach the Lord to them so they can reroll all of their wound rolls. It can sting. But it is melee where they are shining. Man Reaper. This is their weapon. It has 2 profiles. These sides can strike. If you use this, then you have 4 attacks hitting on a 2+ with a strength of 8, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. That's nice, but it also has the lethal hits ability, so if you roll a critical hit, you don't have to roll a wound roll. But you have another option, Sweep. In this form, it has 8 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 1 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. And it also has the lethal hits ability. That's nice. You can add an icon of despair to this unit, which means while enemy unit is within 6 of the bearer, you can worsen their leadership characteristic by 1. It can come in handy. They also have the ability of Deep Strike, so they can teleport in later, almost in any and every part of the battleground. Let's check out the other ability, Silent Bodyguards. While a character is leading a unit, that character has a 4+ Feel No Pain ability, which means each time when that character takes a damage, you can roll 1d6, and on a 4+, you ignore that point of damage. So they can make characters extremely survivable. Good stuff. And let's check out their best ability, Death Approaches. In your movement phase, when you set up this unit on a battlefield, with the Deep Strike ability, you can put them there on a battlefield anywhere more than 6 inches away from the enemy horizontally. So you don't have to make a 9-inch charge, 6 is enough. If the enemy unit is afflicted. If not, then you have to keep the 9-inch range. But it's a great combo with the Plague Marines, because they tag someone in shooting, and then you can finish it off in melee. This is great, one of my favorite units. Death Shrouds are great. And let's check out the last one, the big one, Chaos Rhino. This is your transport. this is the one thing that will make your slower army fast, other than your teleports. But it also buffs your guys. Let's check out what it can do. Chaos Rhino. It has some shooting weapons. They are not great. Either the combi bolter, which is a bolter with 2 shots hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. But if you are within half range, you can have 4 attacks, still won't do much, and it also has the lethal hits ability. So critical hits wound targets automatically. Combi weapon. With this one, you will have one shot that is somewhat better, but not that great. With this, you have one shot with the range of 24, hitting on a 4+ with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. It also has the ability of devastating wounds, which means if you critically wound the target, then your target can't make a saving throw, and it has the rule of anti-infantry 4+, so you can wound an infantry on a 4+. The one weapon that can make a difference in my opinion is the Havoc Launcher. It has the blast ability, so if you are shooting at the big blob of enemies, you will get more hits. But basically, it has the range of 48 with D6 attacks, so attacks between 1 and 6, hitting on a 3+ with the strength of 5, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. It's not great, but at least it can have a volume of attacks and it has a good range. This model can have either 2 combi bolters, 1 combi weapon and a combi bolter, or 1 Havoc Launcher and a combi bolter. It will not make a difference, but pick the Havoc Launcher in my opinion any and every time. Let's check out its ability. It can transport up to 12 Death Guard infantry models, but not Terminators, so obviously you will use it on your Plague Marines. It has the ability of firing deck too, so this Rhino can use 2 weapons and shoot it as its own from the guys that are sitting inside, maybe 2 plasma gun or things like that. It also has the ability of Deadly Demise D3, so when this model dies, you roll a D6 and on a 6 it blows up and deal D3 wounds to anything and everything around it. Okay, and let's check out its main ability, Fire Support. In your shooting phase, after this model has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of these attacks made by the Rhino, and until the end of the phase, each time when a friendly unit that is disembarked from this Rhino can reroll all of its wound rolls. So basically, go there, drop out the Plague Marines, shoot a thing, and the Plague Marines can reroll all of their wound rolls against that target. It's really great. All in all, this is a durable fast box that can deliver your guys where they need to be and make them much more effective for a turn. After that, you can use it to roadblock, you can use it to park down on an objective and hold it for a whole game. For 85 points, it's great. It's somewhat survivable. Your enemy have to dedicate some anti-tank fire to kill it. And if you're shooting at this box, well, at least it's not shooting your valuable units. But then again, if he leaves it alive, it will score you a lots of points. All in all, great stuff. I recommend you this. Okay, and about the box set. This set is great. It has almost everything that makes Death Guard Death Guardy. Probably, if you want to check out the whole range, I would recommend you either a drone, some Poxwalker zombies, or a Plague Burst Crawler, and then you saw the whole range. All in all, this box set is really great. I think GW with these chaos sets start to feel how should you introduce a faction. If you want to start to play Death Guard, I think this box set can be a great start. But really, that's it for now. Thank you for watching and listening. If you like what I do, please consider liking, subscribing, or both, or even hit the little bell. If you don't hit the little bell, I will probably upload 2-3 videos a month, and you can check them out too. But really,